Jake Paul has struck the combat sports community like a bolt of lightning.
I feel like I'm living in a movie.
You said yourself you were going to win this fight all week, but now that it is a reality, what are the emotions now that you've defeated one of your childhood heroes?
He was the one that told me I could accomplish anything if I set my mind to it.
Jake Paul can crack. Oh man, have you seen this Jake Paul dude coming up? He's fucking for real. Yeah? 100%.
The rise of Jake Paul has certainly been interesting to watch over the course of the last few years. When he first transitioned into boxing, nobody really took him seriously, but that narrative has changed as time passed. Jake Paul is moving into mixed martial arts, and will do so with the Professional Fighters League. What are the reasons behind Paul's move to PFL? On the 5th of January 2022, Jake Paul took to his YouTube channel to announce his move to MMA. He said, "I've proven myself in and out of the boxing ring, and now I'm going to do the same in MMA, and there's no limit to the positive impact I can make on the sport." Jake Paul cited the PFL's mission of being a fighters first organization as the main reason for signing with the MMA league. The running theme for the past year or so, outside of Paul's own boxing exploits, has been Jake Paul versus Dana White and the issue of unfair fighter pay. He believes that members of the UFC roster do not receive the pay they deserve. However, there's still a large number of critics who believe this is all for show. In response to such individuals, Jake Paul said in an interview, "It's real. It's very, very real. For me, it's about UFC fighters getting treated better. That's really what it boils down to. I'm passionate about fighter pay, all across the board, because I know the fighters are mistreated even in boxing, but especially in UFC. They run such a greedy organization where people like Paddy Pimblett are getting paid $24,000, and he's the main attraction for the whole entire show. But the whole event is making $5 to $10 million. They're taking everything from these fighters who can barely afford to pay coaches." Paul's correct in his assertion that UFC fighters are not being paid enough. According to Forbes, in 2022, UFC compensation was around 19 to 20%. A number of that has been consistent for 11 years. The base pay for a UFC athlete is $12 grand for a show, and another $12 to win. A number that many consider to be low for the ultimate proving ground, and one that White does not plan on changing. White once said, "Fighters always want to make more money. Boxing has absolutely been destroyed because of money and all the things that go on. A change in fighter pay is never gonna happen while I'm here. Believe me, these guys get paid what they're supposed to get paid. They eat what they kill. They get a percentage of the pay-per-view buys, and the money is spread out amongst all the fighters." The revenue split in the UFC has been a contentious point for fighters, and some have spoken out about their frustrations. Jorge Masvidal and Jon Jones, two of the sport's most popular fighters, threatened retirement from the UFC in 2020 in search of increased pay. And Henry Cejudo, who held belts in both the flyweight and bantamweight divisions, retired in May 2020, but left the door open to a return if he were paid more. Masvidal said on ESPN SportsCenter in June 2020, "If I'm bringing XYZ dollars, giving me 18% of those dollars that I bring in, it's not fair, man." A lawsuit was filed against the UFC's parent company in 2014 that accuses the company of having both an illegal monopoly and monopsony power, which is when a buyer of services faces little competition. That litigation is still ongoing. In a bid to create a fighter fight association, Paul signed a multi-year contract with the Professional Fighters League to compete in a new division, known as superfight, with events on pay-per-view. Paul does not yet have a bout scheduled, but he plans to fight in 2023. Paul and his business partner, Nakisa Bidarian, are among the founders of the new division, and now own an equity share of the PFL. Although terms of the deal were not disclosed by Paul or the league, Paul's official role will be head of fighter advocacy, a fancy title that means Paul will post on social media about the PFL to his millions of followers. Bidarian, who was previously chief financial officer at the UFC, will assist with league operations and strategy for pay-per-view events. The superfight division is meant to attract fighters who can instantly draw paying customers, rather than those mainly looking to win a championship at an established weight class. In the superfight division, fighters will earn at least 50% of the pay-per-view revenue, with bouts distributed by ESPN and the streaming service DAZN. The revenue share is significantly higher than what fighters earn in the UFC, the world's most popular MMA organization, where fighters earn less than 20% of the total revenue, which includes other sources of revenue like ticket sales and sponsorships. Paul said in an interview, "This is about changing MMA, disrupting, innovating, and creating the next big league." Paul is known for his big stunts, usually to grab the attention of audiences on social media. However, it seems he has an actual morally correct motive rather than just attention, with his mission also being to help the long-term healthcare of fighters. The PFL, which had its debut season in 2018, doesn't rival the UFC in popularity, but it has gained a fan base partly because of a television contract with ESPN and because of a format with a regular season and playoffs that is different from the UFC and other combat sports leagues. PFL made a smart move by signing Jake Paul into their league, which will undoubtedly further increase the league's popularity. If the PFL continues to cultivate its young talent and find ways to entice UFC fighters in their primes, then in the distant future, PFL might challenge for the UFC's top spot. What's your thought about Jake Paul signing for PFL? Let us know in the comment section below. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and notification bell so you can always get to watch more amazing videos like this. Remember to keep your guard up, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.